waiting. Am I live? Sometimes with technology, I'm just not sure. Live always seems to be going up in the air. We'll see if we get some feed here. All right, here we go. Waiting for it. We're standing by. I don't know if I am going live. I'm just the one. Here we go. Let's try this again. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Relentless Fit 365. Maybe for the second time. I don't know. But here we are. We're back in live discussions on Friday where we talk about fitness and nutrition and anything else that matters to you to just live a healthier and happier life. And today, as you can see, we're going through questions and answers. I have some specific questions and answers that I get all the time. But if you have something that you want to be answered, make sure you leave it in the comment section. I will try to get to you, and we'll continue on. Rich, thank you. I'm live. Amateur hour right here. So, but things are going good. It's been a nice day. It's sunny out. You'd think it's summertime, and my chest hair's never been furrier. All 6 of them. All right, moving on. Okay, so let's just start with this one. What's the best style of workout for weight loss? I don't know if I was live when I was answering this, so let me answer it again. And that's an easy one, because I'm not going to give you a specific style. My answer is the best style of workout for weight loss is the one that keeps bringing you back and keeps you consistent. I mean, that kind of is, it goes without saying. Now, there are specific workouts that probably do a better job with other things, but for the most part, strength training compared to HIIT training, compared to cardio, my goal is just to bring you in, do some sort of workout. If it helps you, if you're active, if you're consistent, you will see results regardless of what it is, meaning you will see weight loss as well. I hope that makes sense. Not really a canned answer. All right, so we're going to check that one off the list. That one's easy. Here's a good one. Can I gain muscle on 20-minute workouts? Well, of course. Again, consistency will build progress. And that goes without saying almost anything when it comes to fitness and nutrition, or perhaps anything in life. It doesn't take 2 hours a day, 7 days a week of insane training. If you're just consistent and you keep it long term, I would rather you do easier workouts and shorter workouts for longer durations of time. In other words, if you're going to do 10-minute workouts and you're going to do it for 10 days, to me, 10 days in a row, that's better than a 30-minute workout one day in those 10 days, or even 2 days, because you're just not getting those results that you would by keeping consistent. Here's a question. I have a question. And this is from one of you guys currently, when can I hike after an ankle sprain? Well, basically, if you sprained your ankle and you're in pain, you need to rest it. It's hard for me to say. There's a chance you may have to go to the doctor and check it out. That's not for me to answer. I'm certainly not going to answer on my experience, because I've certainly done things like that when I was in pain, or I had an ankle pain, or I rolled an ankle. That's something your doctor can answer for you, or you can answer for yourself to say, am I going to make it worse? If you're hobbling on your ankle during hiking, chances are you should rest, because you're actually making it worse for yourself. IT band tightness. This comes from Owen. Owen, awesome. Any tips? Carrie, good to see you. Thanks for joining in. And yeah, that's a very common one. IT band tightness is something a lot of my runners get. I would venture to guess you're either a runner or you do a lot of cardio stuff. Foam rolling. You can't get better than foam rolling. A lot of times when you're doing that stretching, you're doing that running, or doing that movement time and time again, it starts to tense up. IT band is a very common one. And what the foam rolling does is it's just basically it's the foam rolling's idea of myofascial release, which is essentially just getting all the kinks out. But your best bet is going to be by going to a professional massage therapist, but we usually don't have access to that all the time. So foam rolling, you should be foam rolling after every run just to keep it loose. Hope that answered your question. All right, moving on. Can I get awesome energy like you, brother? Come on, EJ, you know you have awesome energy too. I've seen your channel. Check him out. He also does fitness videos as well. And we all know that energy comes through movement. And every fitness guy knows that. And he's probably setting me up for this answer because fitness does inspire energy, dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin. By moving, you create new thoughts, new ideas, new energies. And I work out practically every day, so movement has made me energetic, sometimes overwhelmingly energetic, and I'll try to tone it back. Good to see you, though, buddy. All right, here's another one. Very common. Can I overtrain? I get this one a lot as well. And I have a long list, but I will take priority of people who make comments right now. But yes, you can overtrain. I do think that overtraining is said too much, though. I don't think just because you're doing something physical 7 days a week that you're overtraining. It truly does depend on what you're doing. Let me give you an example of overtraining. High intensity interval training 7 days a week, I would consider overtraining because you're doing the same thing, the same movement, the same tempo, the same style day after day after day. You're not giving your muscles a chance to rest from that. Strength training is the same way. You have to give yourself rests, but can you do some sort of workout every day of the week? Yeah, I don't think that's overtraining. But be careful. Make sure you're not doing the same thing over and over again. That is truly how you're putting yourself up for a possible chance of injury. Be careful with that. Little baby sweet potato, good to see you. If you have been working out for years at a time, 5 to 6 days a week, and you're feeling like you are just going through movements, but you aren't progressing, do you have to take a break? Well, that's a valid question, because it kind of goes back to what I was just saying in the fact that if you're doing these same workouts, chances are your body is bored. And if your body is bored, that means your mind is going to get bored if it isn't already. I hope that makes sense. That being said, I would recommend some sort of fitness change altogether, meaning if you've been swimming for 2, 3, 4 years and that's been your routine every day, you swim, you go home, or you swim, you run, you go home, or triathletes, they do the same movements. At some point, it's time to move on. I've had a lot of triathletes that have come to me that they just said, I'm bored and I'm not progressing. So we put them on a strength training program and then their results shoot up. Why is that? Is it because they suddenly became a better swimmer or a better biker or a better runner? No. It's because you've changed something up and you've reignited the passion in your muscle brain and your fitness brain that says, hey, there's something new, and that helps you take it to the next level. So little baby sweet potato, if you're going through this, and I have a pretty good idea of how consistent you are, I would caution that what you're doing, it might be overdoing it to the same degree. So what I would recommend is you try something new. Try a new fitness event, try a new technique, something that changes your regular routine and helps you progress to the next level. Hope that makes sense. Great question, though. Let's see. Can you put a session together, a session for triathlon that would work all essentials for swim and bike? I was just talking about this. Wonderful question. This is a good mug, by the way. It fits my big meat stick hand. So, I don't know. We need bigger mugs. Random thought. That's why I'm using it. Yeah, I'd love to. That's a great one, a triathlon workout. Swimming and biking and running. Those are three major endurance events that I love a lot. I can recommend some things to you already because what I would suggest you want to do a little bit is change up the routine that isn't going to be a lot like swimming, biking, and running. And what I would say is try the 1,000 rep body weight workout that I have. It gives you that strength and muscular endurance, that endurance that you're used to, but it gives you an extra strength aspect that you're not getting from biking and running and swimming. However, I will take your request to note and hopefully expect to see a triathlon workout coming soon. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's see. I'm going to try to pass everybody up. I have other questions, but they're coming in. Let's see. Running 5 days a week. That's Paprika. Good to see you. How much water do you drink per day? That's by Laura. Laura, that's a good question. It does depend on your activity level. If you're asking me, I could drink between a gallon to a gallon and a half, sometimes 2 gallons a day. Be careful with that, though, because I've seen people recommend 4 gallons and ridiculous numbers, and it's dangerous. You can drink too much water. So make sure my recommendation is always take a bottle of water with you throughout the day. Take sips. You shouldn't have to guzzle water unless you're even working out. And when you're working out, I don't even guzzle water. I just take sips. So it accumulates, and it depends on my activity levels. If you have a moderate to active activity level, and you're taking sips throughout the day, may expect to drink a little bit over a gallon a day, sometimes more. Depends on that. All right, moving on. Hi, everyone. Mark from Germany. Hello, all you beautiful people in Germany. Thanks for watching. Do you think it makes a big difference to either use a very heavy weight for muscle building or using light weights but more reps is just as effective? It depends on what you're asking as far as what's being effective. And I apologize for the glare. The sun has decided to come in through my blue windows, so it's leaving a little haze. That'll slowly get worse, I suppose. We will adjust if we need to. Yeah, it does depend on what you're looking for. So if you're looking to gain bulk muscle, and if you're a bodybuilder, and that's your question, I would say that lifting heavier is going to be more beneficial in time restraints, meaning it's a lot easier for you to gain muscle when you have more weight to work with. However, I want to pause there because you can actually gain muscle through body weight if you take in enough calories. Now, I want to stress that because women are often really fearful of taking on more muscle, but you have to take in the calories. You have to have the testosterone. It's got to be in your genetics. But I wouldn't say I have gained muscle by doing body weight exercises just as well as I've gained muscle by doing strength training with dumbbells. So I think they're both good. Which one's better is all dependent upon what you like to do. That one is better for you. If you have access to both, I mix it up. I would recommend you mix it up if you have access to both. But I'm always a fan of doing more of a variety, and that tends to give a better rounded, polished result when it comes to your fitness levels. I hope that made sense. Germany, love you guys. All right, question part 1. What? Part 1? I didn't study for this. All right. I'm 26 years old, female. I'm fairly new to strength training. I don't have dumbbells or weights. I bought a resistance band and structured a workout routine which consists of 2 upper. Oh, this is just someone recommending. Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's one of those things that you should definitely balance. Resistance bands are great. I used to do tension band workouts. I don't do them anymore. I'm not saying they're not going to come back, but for me, if people don't have tension bands, that workout's out the door. If you don't have dumbbells, you can sometimes alter that with body weight moves. If body weight, it's just your body weight. So, when you don't have tension bands, it tends to take that away. All right. Let's see. Lower days. I ain't scared of no muscle. Good job. Ladies, you shouldn't be scared of muscle. And you shouldn't be scared of getting stronger. You're not going to get bulky unless you really try to get bulky. Some of it does depend on genetics as well. So moving on, I have a question I actually did want to answer, and I do answer this in just about every Q&A video because I probably get at least this question 2 or 3 times a week. And lately I've ignored it, but every time we do these Q&As, I want to answer it just to make it clear. And before I do that, I want to build this question up to understand why I'm going to answer it this way. Most personal trainers, I shouldn't say most, many personal trainers make extra money off of supplements, vitamins, and they have sponsorship through these supplement companies and vitamin companies. That's fine. But they will recommend supplements. And just understand where the conflicts of interest could be when a trainer is doing that. I still consider myself a personal trainer. I am a certified personal trainer, and the business isn't going anywhere with me. I love fitness. I always keep up to date with supplements, with vitamins, and the new companies that are there that claim all natural. But the question is, let me get to that. what supplements should I take? I'm not against supplements. I always say that. But at the same time, I'm against supplement over usage. And the reason why I call it that is if you're asking what supplements you should take, if you're actually asking me that question, that means you don't know, which means you shouldn't take any. And the only way to know what type of supplements you should take is basically a doctor will tell you what your vitamin deficiency is in, and then you can correct it based on a supplementation that will correct that. Otherwise, if you don't know, just eat food. And at some point, maybe you should take supplements. At some point, maybe you'll discover you don't need supplements. You could save that $100, $200, $300 extra a month and save it up through the year and go on a trip to Acapulco. Much better than sucking down protein powders and stuff. I'm not against it, but I feel like people often over-push protein, over-push supplements and other types of vitamins. I'm always speaking against it. And if you're a supplement company and you continue to reach out to me, chances are I'm not going to answer. If you guys keep sending me that free crap, I'm going to keep throwing it in the garbage, so don't even waste your time. I'm not trying to make money from supplements. I'm sorry. Soapbox rant's over. Let's all drink some water. Okay, let's move on. I was actually asking, I'm sorry. So this was a question and I overlooked it. I was actually asking a question if resistance bands can be used in building muscle or improve strength in absence of other equipment for a beginner. Love from Egypt. Oh man, Ahlan was Ahlan. Beautiful country in Egypt. Love it. Thank you for joining in Egypt. I'm sorry I overlooked your question. I took it as a comment because maybe this should be coffee. I don't know. Good question. And yes, resistance bands can be used to supplement dumbbells. So if you don't have access to dumbbells, resistance bands are really good. The only reason, like I said, that I pulled back on the resistance band workouts are that if you don't have them, it's really hard to change it up. The good thing about tension band stuff is that you get to do things that you wouldn't get in dumbbell training and body weight training. It's that constant resistance push-pull deal that I love about it. If you're recovering for balance, for strength, there's so many good things for it. So if you do have them, yes. And I do have some workouts that have it, but yeah, you can definitely do that. Sorry I missed that question. I hope I answered it. I don't know what's going on here. Brainless. Moving on. I don't know, I'm talking like this. All right. Little baby sweet potato, what are you saying here? I skipped somebody. I'll get you in a second, little baby sweet potato. Oh, my goodness, my fat fingers. Sorry, guys. What about BCAAs? Are they any good? I kind of answered that. It really does depend on, where your focus is. Do you need them or do you not? I'm going to kind of move on with that. But good question. I'm not trying to skip it over, but I felt like I kind of answered that. What's good to eat before a workout? Actually, that's on the list. That's a terrific question. The common mistake is that people think that you should eat something specific. I think it's a mistake. Either a bunch of protein or a bunch of carbs or whatever. I say what you feel like you respond well to. And it's not me giving you another canned answer. It's that our bodies react differently to nutrition than somebody else. So for me, I like to get a lot higher amounts of carbs before I work out. That's just me. But you may do better on protein. So you have to decide how you feel when you're going into a workout. I will let you know that carbs tend to spike the energy levels. You can essentially get that same spike from protein, but carbs tend to do a better job for me. That's why I overload on carbs. I love oatmeal before a workout. Not everybody can take oatmeal. Some people call it porridge before a workout. They just say their stomach can't take that. It's up to you, but that's usually what I go for. I do think that you should eat something before a workout. I always recommend clients when they come in, I tell them, eat 2 hours before you work out. You don't want to come in on an empty tank. I know that a couple years ago, that was kind of a fad to not eat before you work out. And it's like clients are coming in and they're just like, bam, and they would pass out. I mean, not literally, but almost, because they don't have the fuel, the energy levels to sustain a crazy relentless Jake workout. So I do think you should eat. Good question. Do something that works for you. Like I said, I'm a big fan of porridge or oatmeal. All right, where was I? How do you stop yourself from being tempted for fat foods? I mean, that might be fast foods. That's a good question. You know, keep yourself. The best way is to keep yourself very accountable on putting the good stuff in, which means make it very accessible. One of the reasons fast food is usually the go-to is because it's easy. That's why they call it fast food. However, it's, you know, if you keep yourself accountable and you have something prepared for it, good healthy nutrition, Tupperware's ready to go, it's a lot easier for you to resist that temptation. We're tempted because we're hungry. And if I don't have something healthy in the fridge, I'm going to go to what's fast and easy. And oh boy, a burger and fries sounds really good. And that's usually what causes me to fail. I'm not against, you know, you having fast food occasionally. If you feel like that's your reward meal, great. Just don't make it a habit. So in order to not make that a habit and not to make that so it's not so much as a temptation, be prepared. Always be prepared. Every day, be ready for those surges and spikes of saying, I want this, I want more. And instead, go for the healthy stuff. Make the healthy stuff convenient, because there is no such thing as fast food that's healthy and convenient. It just doesn't work that way. Good question. All right. Sound went off. That's of course it did. Sorry about that. Hopefully you got the sound back. It muted for a bit. I hope we let me know if you could hear me. If we missed out on something, just to let you know, the question was, you know, how do I stay away from fast foods or other temptations? And my response was, be prepared. In short, be prepared, meaning keep access to really a lot of healthy nutrition so that you don't fail and go towards the easy stuff. All right, scratching that one off the list because that was on there. Good question. Here's another one. Will I get bulky from strength training, in particular lifting weights? Let me make sure the sound is good. Let me get that out. Sound check 1, 2. All right. The sound is on again. All right, thanks, guys. We don't want that. We don't want my annoying voice. Yeah, sorry about the mic. Okay. So can I get bulky from strength training? All these technicalities when we're getting a new space, everything's exciting, and then you overlook certain things. You're like, how can I forget that? And it kind of makes it a little exciting, but at the same time, you know, I want to strangle the guy in charge who should be checking this off, which is me. All right, moving on. You do not necessarily get bulky from strength training, whether it be body weight training, whether it be dumbbell training. They're just, it's just not something that's as common as it sounds. I know it sounds like, hey, if I lift a lot of heavy weights, I'm going to get bigger like a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders are eating a lot of calories, very high amounts of calories, and some of them, let's face it, are taking steroids. So, you know, unless you're doing those things, don't expect to get bulky. And again, I'm going to go back to genetics. A lot of times genetics will play a big role in where your response is to strength training. Now, if you see that from strength training or lifting weights, it's going to explode up in the sense that your muscles are going to get bigger. I would say stick to body weight stuff, not the dumbbell stuff. Body weight tends to be much better when it comes to more muscle tone that I have found. All right, moving on. What is the greatest food to eat when you're hungry? Well, all right, it goes by cravings. If you're snacking, I would recommend seeds and nuts. A good nut, and it's actually kind of a secret. I've tried to reveal it, but most people are like, oh, I didn't know that. Pine nuts. Pine nuts are a really small nut. They're usually used for baking. They're a distinct flavor. They're kind of strong, so if you don't like them, it probably won't involve you. But pine nuts go very well in salad. They digest a lot easier than almonds. They're not as hard. I feel like they taste better. Pine nuts act as an actual natural meal suppressant, so they make you feel fuller, and they kind of take away that hunger crave that you get towards the end of the day or midday. Pine nuts are one I would recommend. If you have a sweet tooth, I would recommend berries. Blueberries are my favorite go-to. They're very good for you. They're good natural sugar, and it's something that'll give you a nice spike in energy, especially midday. So salty sweet, that helps you out. By the way, there's a little question for you. What is your craving? Do you crave salty or sweet? What's your usual go-to? Just out of curiosity. All right, moving on. Oh, someone just said watermelon. Oh my goodness, I love watermelon. All right. What's the best way for kids to get tall? What types of food are we meant to eat? Well, if I'm reading that correctly, there's things that can stunt your growth. Some of it, I think, has been proven to be a myth. But in other cases, it used to be said that when you work out, your child's going to stunt their growth. I think for the most part, that's worked out to be a myth. I don't know if there's anything that could make you taller. If there is, it's news to me. I'd like to know. I know that calcium does a great job in building muscle structure, but I think your height has something to do with your genetics. So I couldn't really answer that. If I knew what made us taller, I would do it. But I think I'm at a height that I like. But I would suggest if you have a child, make sure they're getting the right amount of calcium, and have their doctor check that out to make sure. Because a lot of people these days are lactose intolerant, but it doesn't mean you can't get calcium in your body. There's always other ways. There's almond milk. There's soy milk. There's even cashew milk these days, which is quite good, by the way. I don't know, random thought. Let's see. Moving on. I love pine nuts. Who said that? Little baby sweet potato. Good job. I love them too. I am hungry all the time. Which foods keep you full longer? Oh my goodness. Join the club, Owen. Join the club. I'm hungry all the time too. It's probably a good sign. I'm not sure what your age is. It probably means that your metabolism is very high. And that's good. Your activity levels might hopefully are burning that off. But I eat constantly. What I will say is that if you put the adequate amount of protein in your body, you don't have to worry about it. But basically what I just said, the pine nuts, almonds, cashews, walnuts, seeds and nuts will help you sort of quench that hunger, desire. So try that. Who said pumpkin seeds? Paprika. Yeah, pumpkin seeds are a very good one. By the way, seeds digest better than nuts, just FYI. So they digest a lot faster. That's usually why I recommend seeds if you have digestive issues. Pumpkin seeds are a great one. How often, and skip down, where was I? How often should I work out my arms to gain muscle? Well, to be honest, you're gaining muscle in your arms by just working out in general. Arms are a very small muscle group, as everybody knows. So when you're doing chest press, you're actually working your arms to some degree. When you're doing back rows, you're actually working your arms to some degree. This one's going to baffle you. When you're working your legs, you're building your arms. I'm serious. You're basically what you're doing when you're working out is you're recruiting muscle fibers, especially lower body. When you work out lower body, you're recruiting more muscle fibers, which means you're burning more amounts of fat, which means you're building more muscle tone, which means it will show up in your arms as well. And so just keep working out. You're going to see the muscle gain in your arms. There are bicep workouts you can do. I'm actually offering one to give my channel another plug. This Monday, I think, is back in biceps. So that'll help build your arms too. All right, so let's move on. I'm your age. You're my age. Wow, congratulations. You're 22 as well? I'm kidding. All right. So one final question that I get all the time, and I actually left it for last, mainly because it often brings people into the next direction of fitness levels. And they ask, what is the healthiest diet? I put that as number one because I wanted to leave it last. If you have any other questions, keep them rolling. I'm trying not to overlook them. We're beyond the 30 minutes already, but you guys are great. And I'm pretty excited about this. I'm pretty excited about being a part of the studio, so I knew we would go over a little bit. And plus, there was a muted technicality, so I apologize for that too. What is the healthiest diet? None of them. And I mean that sincerely. When you use the terms diet, you're talking short term. So a diet is good for athletes or for a short-term weight loss, 2 weeks, even 6 weeks. You can even stretch it and go beyond that to 8 weeks. After that, it's not sustainable. There is no long-term sustainable diet that I think is better. Now, I think some diets are more effective for short-term weight loss than others, but I don't believe people are talking short-term when they're talking diet. They're talking about what's the best, healthiest nutritional lifestyle. The one that's the least restrictive and the longest for lifestyle, or the longest sustainable for your lifestyle. I'm not trying to dance around the question. The reason I say that is some people can't eat meat, some people don't eat meat. So now you've already restricted yourself, or you're just restricted in those general areas. But you have other things that you can go for, and if it's healthy, whole foods, if it's something that you can sustain for a long period of time, that's good for you. For me, I don't like restrictions. If you go to my website, you'll see paleo, you'll see vegan, you'll see vegetarian. I'm none of them, guys. None of them. Vegans, paleo people always try to push, vegans especially, will always try to push veganism on me. I love that passion. I love it. I'll be honest. But it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me for a lot of reasons. It's not sustainable in my lifestyle. I'm a survivalist. I like to go out in the wild and the wilderness and the hiking. And that being said, that requires meat sometimes because we won't always take food with us. We want to fish for our meat. That doesn't really work well with veganism. Whereas paleo doesn't work with me because it's too restrictive. Sometimes I'm going to want bread. I'm just being straight up with you. You have to pick something that works for you in a healthy lifestyle that's sustainable for life, that's not stressing you out where you want a donut. I hope that makes sense. That's why I left it to last. Surprisingly, I didn't get that question. But yeah, pick what's the most sustainable for you. All right, guys, I'm going to answer one more question. Why is strength training recommended when you're in a caloric deficit? I read you can't gain muscle without surplus and that cardio burns more calories. So why is strength training recommended more? It depends on who you talk to whether or not strength training is recommended more or less. That's a loaded question. What I can say about cardio burning more calories, that's not entirely true. Cardio burns more calories in a short-term workout, whereas strength training burns the calories in a long term, so they kind of work themselves out to be the same. I would not personally recommend one over the other. I actually don't do that. I recommend a balance of strength training and cardio and HIIT training. I like to put them all together. Now, the question is often which one is better. The one that's better is the one you're trying to get to. So if you want to build more muscle, I'm going to recommend to you more strength training. If you're trying to lose weight, I would recommend a balance of everything. Most times people are like, "Oh, I'm going to lose more short-term weight with cardio, so cardio is better." I disagree. Cardio is good. Strength training builds that muscle where you're not going to basically lose the weight and then still have the same amount of muscle to weight ratio. I think that's one of the reasons why you're saying most people will recommend strength training. But as far as calories, the surplus or deficit, to me it doesn't make a difference. Keep a balanced fitness routine, strength training, cardio, HIIT training, even yoga, kickboxing, some other activity outside, and have a healthy, whole, nutritious nutrition in your life. Nutritious nutrition. I don't even know if you could say that. I broke the law right there. I broke the fitness law. But regardless, you see my point. If you have that, you have the balance, you'll be okay. Try not to. One of the things about fitness is it's a lot simpler than people think. It's not this, science this and, I read this. And, every YouTuber and their mother has an opinion about nutrition. Every YouTuber and their mother is a fitness guru. I'm not trying to claim that. I'm trying to bring my love for fitness and tell you my results that I have with my clients and what I know about that. And what I do know is that more in your life, that dimensional strength that I always try to talk people into building is better. Try to build more strengths in your life than weaknesses. So cardio, HIIT training, strength training, and more. That's better. And good, healthy nutrition. All right, guys. I can't take any more today, but I appreciate your questions, your comments. It's going to be a real blast. The technicalities, the ups and downs and ins and outs. We'll get better at that. I'm going to work on the lighting. I'm going to work on the sun and things like that. I hope that wasn't too distracting, but I do appreciate your questions. Keep them coming in even after this live workout. If you're watching this after we are no longer live, still ask those questions because I'll bring it to another live event where we'll talk about it. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future on these lives. I'm going to have discussions with other people coming in soon, so keep that in mind. So I'm going to bring real experts in here, not just babbling Jake. And also, don't forget tomorrow. What's tomorrow? 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, which would be 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I don't know, math, 10 a.m. Pacific, something like that. You guys know where you're at. So just know, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, we are going to be doing a relentless 300 workout, so 300 reps of body weight. That's all you need, your body and your weight. You don't need dumbbells. You don't need tension bands. You don't need anybody else around you. Of course, bring your friends and your family members. That helps too. Yeah, we're going to get it on. So 8 a.m. tomorrow, right here, right in your neck of the woods and in your home, and we'll get it on. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Always remember, eat healthy, train hard, most especially have fun. I'm Relentless Jake. You remember to stay focused, stay dedicated, and I'll see your beautiful faces next time. And I'm out.